is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of EWA 2K23's roster reveal. That's right, one person, one character, one wrestler per week. We're going to introduce a new member of the EWA roster until EWA 2K23 launches. I'm not going to announce a launch date yet because it's not set in stone, but it was coming soon, so be excited and subscribe. My first guest is Mr. Taylor Osborne.
Spitting in my chair.
Yes. And yeah, so Taylor's basically gonna show us 2K23 version of Taylor Osborne. And this you can take as an official announcement that Taylor Osborne will be in EWA 2K23 from the very first show, basically. If they feature in the series, they're in. So
Let's call a spade a spade. Of Taylor Osborne. If I ain't there, there is no EWA. Let's just call it like it is.
Okay. Okay.
I'm allowed to have my ego. That's half the character.
So let's fade to showing this interesting image that I have on my screen right now, and then you can talk us through your creative process for Taylor this year, because Taylor's quite different to what I've known. So let's go.
It's sort of like a I was about to say before, so like there is a bit of a jarring difference. Like as you can see right here, there's like a bit more of a suit and all the rest of it.
So obviously this is the entrance slash maybe cutting a promo, maybe being a manager attire. This isn't the actual wrestling attire. This is
this isn't the wrestling attire. This is his entrance and all the rest of it. I was about to say anyone who this is where we'll test their wrestling knowledge. One of my favorite wrestlers, currently still working and all the rest of it, is Naito.
Yeah.
Anyone who's watched any of his big matches know he comes out looking like he's about ready to sit down at a business meeting. Particularly if you watch any of his Wrestle Kingdom stuff, he's got like the mask that you sort of see, or some sort of mask sort of thing. Maybe not like this, but you know that's like a 3-piece suit he's wearing, sort of thing. And he spends 20 minutes before the match kicks off unsnapping the pants and taking everything off. I'm a little upset that the game doesn't have a before match footage of that, because I'd play it, damn it.
Who is it who does it in is it Angel Garza used to do it in WWE? He used to do the pant removal. Someone in WWE, like either in WWE or NXT, used to whip off the pants halfway through a match.
Angel did more. Well, that's more Tai Chi.
No, someone in WWE used to do a sort of strip thing. And what I'm getting at is this is a WWE game. He's in the game, so yeah, it really is a shame that's not in the game, because it could be. Referencing New Japan guys doesn't make it likely to be in this game, but referencing a WWE guy who does it means 2K, put it in the game so Taylor can do a strip show in the middle of a match. Like, come on.
No, reference all I want, because when they start watching these videos, they can get the hint. Start looking at New Japan. We got to get. But anyway, like, there's a bit of jarring. We used to see him with like that gas mask or one of the other masks, depending on what I'm able to use, and like that Miz sort of jacket. So a big difference. I'm going to start rotating around, as you can sort of see. And he's got hair.
That was the first thing I noticed, because when you sent me an image, you sent me the ring attire, not this.
Yeah.
So the first thing I noticed wasn't the mask, wasn't the suit. It was Taylor's got hair. Like, and just in case you haven't watched like our sort of classic matches series, Taylor started off with long hair. It wasn't green, but he had long hair and a cowboy hat. So I was like, oh my God, like we're kind of amalgamating all the previous Taylors in a weird way, like, but also making new stuff as well.
Oh yeah, as you can see by the pose, giving him a bit more of an edge, I guess you could say, to it. But yeah, it's like, as you can say, I love how they're still.
Where's his hand gone?
Like, hey, I was about to say, no matter what game they do, I think we're still going to get these issues with clipping and all the rest of it. It's just, it'll never go away.
Look, this jacket has a pocket in the back.
I know. If you look carefully, his fingers are poking.
It's like when you wear an over-the-top hoodie and you've got that big pocket in the front, except it's on the back.
That's it. Custom made. But yeah, like, and if we get a real good, nice little look, see, I keep telling everyone there's a smiley face in his eye.
Yes, there is. One thing I've just realised as well, is that 2 masks?
Yes.
Because I thought it was just a mask when it was zoomed out, but it's the horns are part of a mask that's under the face mask bit. Is that just because you couldn't find one mask that suited the design you wanted, or?
A little column A, a little column, but you know what I'm like when I'm creating the arenas and other things. Like anyone who's watched the previous creation stuff that you and I have sat down and talked about the belt of the arenas, I sort of just flick through stuff, and when I see something, I'm like, hang on, what can I do with this piece? And then I sort of, and yeah, it's sort of like both sort of sections. It's sort of like I had a particular look I wanted, and there wasn't a base sort of just by itself in the game of it. So I started fiddling around what pieces can I put together and stumbled over this wonderful little thing. I'm so glad they were both in this year, because that's a mask I actually created from last year, but I just like, well, it worked so damn well. Why screw with perfection? But all right, so that's the entrance attire, and we'll see the entrance in a bit, because I think that's part of the roster reveal sort of thing. Which, yeah, advanced entrances are back, and there's so many little things that make me go,
Yeah,
you bastard.
I can't wait to see the entrance, yeah, because the entrance is done. So I think we're gonna have a little look at the entrance, right?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. I will say, just before we continue on to the ring attire, for anyone wondering, every so often we are getting a little slight graphical glitch. That's because we're doing this through the PlayStation Share Play. It's really the only way I can see what Taylor is showing me at live as he's showing it. So every so often it's just PlayStation Share Play isn't perfect, basically. But yeah, carry on. I just wanted to let people know that it's not anything we're unaware of. It's just something we can't affect.
Cool. And now we're going to use the magic of post edit, and we're going to have a pause right here and a fade to black while I change the menu.
The magic of video editing.
Woo!
Woo! Oh god. And yeah, this is he takes off a lot of clothing.
That's it.
He's not leaving a lot to the imagination there. There's some tight shorts.
Hey, don't worry. As I was getting this ready, beautifully enough, HBK's music started up, so he's standing there like this with sexy boy going off. Like I couldn't help but laugh. Like it was brilliant. So anyway, if you saw a version of this last year.
Did I?
Well, remember that Naito attire that I just created?
Yeah. So that's where. So yeah, something that didn't end up happening on EWA 2K23 because of reasons. Was we planned a big. Was it going to be an 8-man tag, or was it just a series of matches? I can't remember.
I can't remember myself.
But the idea was that Fun Hinged, which was like a 4-man unit in 2K22, was going to all have like an alternate attire based on a member of LIJ, with Taylor being based on Naito, and I can't remember exactly who took from who. But yeah, so everyone was going to have like a themed special attire for the show. Is that what led into this version of Taylor a little bit? Because like it
is, because I really like that attire, and like it was one of those things. I like the attire. Another reason why is I paid attention to last year's EWA, and because little shameless plug here, I do the EWA stream, which featured a lot of the guys' calls and all the rest of it. No one wore bike pants or the little trunks. Oh, pardon me. Everyone was wearing like tights and long pants, pretty much.
Everyone's probably wanting to hide their modesty, unlike Taylor. Good grief.
That's it. Yeah. Check this out. Like, look at that. So I wanted to be different. I wanted to break the mold, sort of thing. So I was sitting there and sort of like I looked at that attire I did, and so like I really modeled off Naito going forward. Like as I give him a bit of spin, you can see the knee pads are base different color, one purple, one black. Still kept with his logos that you normally saw all over the pants, like the little TO with the tongue out of one knee, the sort of evil grin on the other.
Yeah, it's weird because I will say one thing, like I am borderline like actually diagnosable OCD about symmetry. But there's an exception, and it's when wrestlers have asymmetrical attires. I really like it.
If it's done right, it's beautiful.
Going all the way back to Kane just having one arm on his original attire, like
Yeah.
just anything like that. Like you say, as long as it's done right. But asymmetrical attires to me just stand out, and I like them when I really shouldn't. And the first thing I was drawn to was the different knee pads. Like even from the side pose, I could tell they were obviously different knee pads. So like, go on, carry on. Anyway, I just thought I'd point it out.
No, that's good. And one of the reasons it happened, besides the Naito thing, is that green TO wasn't popping as much on a purple knee pad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wanted it to pop.
Yeah, the purple's quite light that you use. Like it's quite a bright purple, and you're using a bright green for the TO. So yeah, it stands out better against like a dark, And what's darker than black? Good choice.
and as you can see down the side of his leg, he's got to sort of represent the faction. Hinged.
Fun hinged. Yeah. Is it the same on the other side? Is the text on the other side? No. Okay,
well,
let's have a look.
We'll get a nice little shake of the booty. It's just normal.
Oh, okay.
But it works.
Yeah. Again, the asymmetry, it works. I like it.
Well, besides that, I thought about it, and I did think about putting something there. Then I thought, no, it's a small space, and realistically, when we're wrestling a match, the speed the match goes, particularly with the way Taylor sort of wrestles, where it's high paced and flipping and all the rest of it, it's sort of an exercise in futility because no one's really going to see it.
Yeah.
Speaking of exercises,
oh, go on. I was going to say it's sort of like when a wrestler writes something on the wrist tape. It's more for them and the person who knows, like the person it's directed to, rather than a thing the fans are really supposed to notice. Like some eagle-eyed fans will always pause the match and have a look at what the message says, but the average fan that's watching or just see, oh, there's a black mark on the tape for some reason, whatever. Yeah. And it's the same with your fun hinge down the side. It's like, people who really care might pause a video and have a look, like, what does that say? But most people will just see a pattern on your pants kind of thing. So, yeah.
Or, you can, if you're watching The Rock when he's delivering a promo, you may see. But yeah, as I was going to say, talking of exercise and futility, I got little fun hinge, like the TO logo right there.
Yeah.
But did you notice something? I didn't ask if you noticed in the photo. And I've got to give credit where credit's due. There was someone watching when I was creating this, and I was going through the belts, just like, what would be funny to look at? It's just like, these are funny. I'm not using these, but these are funny. This works. As you can see, he's actually wearing a belt.
Yeah.
And it's bat wings.
It's bat wings.
It's bat wings. But yeah, it's sort of like what also beautifully lines up is that clasp. You don't notice it from the distance.
Yeah,
the T sits perfectly in there, so it's real well. And also the tassels are still there.
Yeah, of course. Gotta love the tassels.
Yeah. Gotta have tassels.
If you shake him around a little bit again, I think I noticed the belt is fabric, right? Does the belt move, or did I just imagine that?
No, it's fabric. It is. I did it in satin.
Does it move very slightly? I feel like I noticed it before, but it wasn't doing just then. Maybe I was just spotting the tassels out the corner of my eye and thinking it was the belt or something. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay, maybe hopefully in matches when you do like some flippy stuff, the belt moves a bit because it's just fabric. That'd be quite a cool detail.
And I'll be honest, one of the reasons we went to the belts and I was having a laugh is I wanted to see Taylor with a weight belt because I thought that was the most hilarious thing ever. Here's this little guy. So like they put a massive Hogan weight belt on him or something. But yeah, it's sort of came out with this. And in the lead up to this, like everyone who's watched any of these, we've set it out right, and you can really guess. You and I chat outside of this. This is not the only time we talk and all the rest. We talk on like occasion quite frequently, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a message about another wrestler I was going to borrow some elements from, and that's where the hair growth from Taylor sort of came from. And of course, everyone sort of knows it's Switchblade. Like, and the reason you can't really see it, but let's. Taylor got manly and grew facial hair.
Yeah, he's grown more hair on his head than on his face, but like that is the thing that jumped out at me when you first sent me the picture of this Taylor. But yeah, this is quite a different look.
It's sort of like, and the face paint's still the same. That's never going to change. Like, I'm still annoyed that they don't have the Sting face paint for males in the game still. It's like they don't want you to make Sting at all.
Yeah.
So it's not there. But hey, I found something that works for it. But yeah, there we go. There is the entrance attire.
And the ring attire.
I'm gonna say it. I'm really happy with how I pulled this together. I was freaking out when I first loading up the game and all the rest because I had the imagery I wanted to do, and it was that case of, oh, please work, please have parts that either I used last year or I want to change and all the rest. And thank God, these games can be really.
It's always a worry when you have like a consistent character you take through the games that like. How easily am I going to be able to not necessarily like for like replicate, but stay true to the character and create them again with what they've taken out and what have you. Like that's always the worry, is what bits they take out, what wrestlers aren't in the game that were in the last one, and they might take out their parts and stuff like that, and you use them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always a worry. But the thing is with Taylor, because another one of your creations, Shock, I think has stayed a lot more similar through the years, whereas Taylor seems to undergo quite a dramatic shift most games, to be honest. Like, there's been a couple where he's been quite consistent, but when I think back to how Taylor looked in 2K18, and then through to 19 and 20, like that look, and 22 is a little different, but like there was already one dramatic shift. So Taylor's an evolving character as it is.
Well, even then, it's like it'll be the same when the game things. The shift a lot of the times has been mid game.
Yeah,
like something's hit me and I've just sort of like had inspiration because I don't know, I was creating something else or something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that.
And without pulling back the fourth wall on anything that we may do in the future, we have talked about actual character sort of evolution through storyline as well for Taylor, like quite dramatic ones. You know, they may come down the line if we can fit them in, they may not, but I wouldn't want to talk about them in any less vague details just in case they do come in, you know, no spoilers. But yeah, so
2 words.
Taylor's a very malleable character, I would say, like compared with like a Shock who's quite rigid in how you see and create Shock, I would say.
Yeah.
Personality and what have you. It's all
it's pretty much all of the disposed, those 3 members. They may have a bit of a change here and there with whether like with the masks or something else with the 2 bigger guys or anything.
Yeah.
The disposed tend to, because they're just big, dark, mean bastards.
Yeah.
It's hard to sort of differentiate from that sort of thing. Like they wear black and they beat the piss out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's them. That does describe them pretty well. So we've seen the entrance attire, we've seen the in-ring attire. I think we should switch back to the entrance attire now and have a look at that entrance, to be honest. I can't wait, because I know it's going to be dramatically different from 2K22 from what you said to me.
Oh, it is.
So,
but we'll advance our entrances back. But before we go, I got to go back to what I was going to say with the whole 2 words. When we were talking to morphing and all the rest, I got 2 words for everyone: naked Midian.
All right, so here comes the entrance, and I have seen nothing of this. Oh, we've got some pyro. Lovely stuff. You're trying to cost us money here? Like... Everyone
else gets to have a heap of pyro. This year's Taylor's year.
So. Okay. Having some delete action.
Yes.
With some fire. Whoa, okay, that was nicely timed. That was beautiful. I like that.
Well, you know what I'm like.
Yeah. Oh, that transition from one person's animation to another was really nice, because that's... I don't know if that's an issue. Raw? What the hell's Raw? Never heard of it. I don't know if that's a thing they've just fixed in this game, or if you just happen to find 2 that go well, but one thing with custom entrances in the past, like advanced creation, was like the transition would look awful. Like you'd have someone running and then suddenly they'd just be walking and stuff like that. So I don't know if they've like fixed that, or if you just found 2 that were good.
It's me finding 2 that worked with it. Like there's still that issue there. You can't just sort of like go from anything to anything sort of thing. Yeah. You got to find it where it sort of fits. But you know, this is a throwback to his early days.
Oh yes. Oh, we love a dancing Taylor.
Into the purple screen.
Yeah. Drops into the purple.
Wait. Yep, and ball pyros.
Of course, corner pyros.
But they stay going.
Taking
It's
these,
like,
taking all these sparklers out of you. You pay.
Yeah, well, no, they're from a death match.
Okay, right. So we've seen it once now. Let's watch it again. Just keep it running and talk us through like why, like, because some people might not know the lore of Taylor and stuff. So give us your sort of. I get
There's
it.
lore?
Yeah, there's lore. There's definitely lore, especially for the start bit. There's a reason you went with this.
Oh god, I'm trying to remember. Well, this is a throwback. Like a lot of this is like a throwback to I think the 2 previous entrants. Like last year, because we didn't have advanced entrances at all, I had Seth Rollins.
Yep.
This year with the advanced entrances back, I wanted to play around with it. Initially, I did have Seth dancing up on the stage, but I was looking through and I saw the Woken one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, you're kidding.
It's back.
And yeah, that was what I was using. I think it was 2K19.
I was going to say, which game? I don't. Right, so it wouldn't have been the first version of Taylor because the Hardys only came back in at WrestleMania 33, which I think means the entrance probably wouldn't have made it to 2K18. So it's probably 19 would have been the first one with it in. So yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
and Taylor was using Shinsuke's when he had the dramatic shift from that, cowboy hat wearing, long black hair to all of a sudden he's got short hair. And we've talked about it before. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can go find him on the YouTube channel or the previous thing where we're talking about Taylor and the backstory and all the rest. You gave me that push to not just borrow from Joker with these mannerisms and that, but just full, lean into it sort of thing. And that's where the bright colors came in and everything else. And so he was using Shinsuke's entrance at that point prominently, like the one that you see when he gets to the ring. So it's sort of like it works beautifully. Like I just like the absolute, like, look how into it he is. Like it just fits.
Yeah,
to
I agree. It's
that sort of thing.
To me, this, because you mentioned to me ideas you'd had for like before the game even came out, which obviously it's only just come out, but before like we knew much about the game at all, you'd talked about things, and I was like, you know what, Taylor's his thing. I'm not sure I think that suits Taylor, but it's your thing. So I was like, and at the end of the day, sometimes you've told me ideas in the past and I'm like, I'm not sure that'll work, and then you've shown me the arena and I'm like, yeah, it works. So I was like, you know what, just keep quiet, have faith. You've not ended up going with those ideas, and I think I really like this entrance. I think it just sums up Taylor. Like, I think this version of Taylor is simultaneously brand new, but also there's a lot of throwback. There's a lot of back reference, and I think having the delete at the top of the stage is a big part of it now that I know you've done it. Yeah, I really like that.
Well, I know you and I talked, as you mentioned, I mentioned a lot of ideas, and I'll be honest, some of those ideas before the game even came up, they fell to the chopping block, because, I thought about it. Like yesterday, like 12 hours before I actually had my hands on the game. So actually at time when we're recording right now, 24 hours ago, I actually was really having a good hard think on what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And some of those ideas got chopped because I was like, I mean, it was sort of like, as you were saying, I was like really having to think about it. It's like, they're not Taylorish.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, but not really for Taylor. Yeah.
It's not the gimmick. And the thing with Taylor, if you've followed the EWA from day one, or you've gone back and watched stuff, or you've just heard me and Beza talk about it, there's a lot of consistency where there's not consistency as well with Osborne. Mm-hmm. He has got these mannerisms, he's got these things. Hell, he's got the same signatures and finishes as last year, and 2 of those have been the same signature and finisher he's had since 18.
Yeah,
I want to say, like flippity kickity in the UTO, like they have been staples. He's like John Cena with those. He's got 2 moves, he's never dropping them.
I feel like flippity kickity actually came in because it wasn't in the game. I think it was a DLC move. But ever since it's been available, you've had it. Like from the moment it was available as a move, Taylor's had it. So yeah, it's about as consistent as it can be, and yeah, the UTO's just been there from day one. So
yes, and I abuse anyone who's used it.
I think. Well, let's talk about it a little bit, because the thing I'm referring to is using Cody Rhodes' rise up through the stage thing. You mentioned maybe wanting that, and I was like, don't know if that's very Taylor. And then the other thing I thought was, every time there's something cool and new in one of these games, everyone in EWA uses it. It's like a running gag between us, isn't it? And I was like, I guarantee that Taylor won't be the only person using that. And Taylor likes to stand out and be different. So that was why I was thinking, not convinced that's a great thing for Taylor. But, like I said, I just sat on it and was like, you know what, it's your thing. Like, let's see how it turns out. And you came to that conclusion by yourself in the end. You know, we do think about these things quite similarly in a lot of ways, don't we?
You did mention, because that was, you didn't say outright everyone's going to use the Cody thing, but I think it was the next day or something, you and I were having a laugh over, like, oh, here we go. How many people are going to use, I think we were talking about an entrance song, I want to say Praise, and you and I having a laugh, like, here we go, everyone's going to be using Shatter. It was something like that, and that sort of sat in the back of my head. And, yeah, and also that elevator entrance, I thought would be more suited to the Anomaly, to be honest.
Yeah.
That sort of like, ooh.
Or even if you do it with really dark lighting, even sort of the members of the Disposed would maybe suit just coming up through the floor, coming from hell kind of thing. You know, it works for a lot of different personalities, but I'm not sure it's a particularly Taylor thing.
No, he's not dancing enough.
Yeah, he's standing too still. Where's his HD? How many Ritalin did he pop before he started his entrance? Like, what's going on?
I mean, we've seen this entrance about half a dozen times now.
But, you know, it's fun, and it's better than just having a static screen, so we'll just keep it running.
I was going to say, there's not one part of this he's actually standing still. Even when he's standing still, he's twitching.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you look at him here, he's like, his head's not still.
It's as still as he ever is, and he's wobbling side to side and shaking his head, you know, like...
Like, if you haven't seen them and they're still on the YouTube channel, do yourself a favour, go back and watch some of the classic Taylor matches, or the Taylor matches that have been uploaded. You'll get what we mean by the way he moves and everything else, because it's breakneck when he's actually on offense. He is that style of wrestler, and the entrances always have to capture that. The taunts, everything. The attires have to have that essence of controlled chaos, I guess you can call it.
I will say, I think, like you say, we've watched this entrance a lot now, and it's time to nearly wrap up, but I do want to say, I'm glad the first roster reveal is Taylor, because, and this is a challenge to the other roster members, but I think there's some distance from Taylor to second place in the way of defining a character. I don't think anyone is as close to having such a clearly defined personality. Like, I feel like people, in a way, I don't think they do as good a job, but I think Taylor's the easiest one for people to replicate, because he's so easy to understand. Do you know what I mean? You watch a bit of Taylor, you watch a couple of matches, you watch his entrance, and I think Taylor really stands out as being as standing out as being so. I keep coming back to the word. I can't think of a better sort of synonym for it, but defined. Taylor Osborne is Taylor Osborne. That means something in and of itself, as opposed to sort of trying to say, oh well, it's a bit this, it's a bit that. It makes sense to just say, just keep watching, you'll understand. You know, kind of thing. And I think by a long way, Taylor is number one in EWA history for that, to be honest. Like, it's just, you get him.
Well, he's our longest standing, like we've talked about before, he's our longest standing character.
Yeah,
like,
he is, but I also think it's a thing where you get it in real wrestling. You get, like, think about like your Undertakers, and when he first debuted as like the cult leader, or even as the Mr. Rogers version, the Bray Wyatts. You know, like, some people just have such a clearly defined gimmick, such a clearly defined personality from day one. It's like, oh, this isn't just a wrestler. This is like
John Cena's a great example.
John Cena was so generic at the start, but then once he got his rapper gimmick, it was like, I get this guy. Like, you know, like, I get what he's about, and you don't have to compare it to anything else. It just, it makes perfect sense. And, like, whereas a lot of wrestlers, you know, they have, like, personality traits. I think a really good example is maybe a Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler has a clearly defined personality, but he is essentially just a cocky wrestler.
Yes.
you know, like, it's not that unique. You know, he has his own way of doing it, and his way of doing it, especially in the early days, really stood out. But it was still just cocky wrestler. You know, it wasn't anything more special than that, really. As good as he is, and as good as he always has been at what he does, when you try and actually define the personality, it's very, very easy to just lump him in with a lot of other people. Whereas Taylor stands out, Undertaker stands out, Bray Wyatt stands out, the different, you know, kind of thing. And I think that's what Taylor is best at in EWA by some distance.
Oh, yeah. That and choking on losses.
Yeah, he's great at that as well.
Oh, yes. But before we leave, there's two things I just want to mention. One, for those who watched it enough times, you'll notice that there is still some major sort of clipping and graphical issues when you pay attention. Like the collar of the shirt does sort of seem like it's attached by some invisible strings to the mask. Hopefully they patch those out. But, you know, that's just the thing. So if you're creating an entrance and you're seeing that sort of stuff, just live with it. There's nothing you can do. Trust me. Sometimes it's best just to accept things are out of control.
I'll be honest, I hadn't noticed that. I think you working with the minutiae of the entrance and trying to make it perfect, you've honed in on that. But I've watched this entrance now, as we've been talking, 6 times, whatever it is, 7 times. I haven't noticed it.
It'll come up.
Now I
Look
will.
when he's lifting his head.
Now I'll notice. Now you've said it, but it's not
Right there.
Oh, that. Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's
yeah,
like he's having Batman under his chin.
Well, I think now that I've noticed it properly, I think subconsciously I had noticed it because I wasn't surprised by it. But yeah, it doesn't. What you were saying is just live with it. Yeah, just live with it. It doesn't make the difference that you think it does. Like, because it's just, you know, everyone knows 2K gonna 2K.
That's it. It's gaming, full stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just can't help that sort of thing. Things collide. It's not a perfect thing. It's like the hair. It's sort of like the way it's bunched up. It's because the straps are there. It's not going to be perfect like real life. The other thing you've probably noticed, I got the wings there. That's a throwback and a nod to the belt.
The wings?
On the Titantron, the whole, you know, Judgment Day.
Oh,
wings.
Right.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Taylor's an angel.
I hadn't noticed the Titantron, which one you'd chosen, to be honest. But yeah, it's consistent with his belt, even if it seems relatively inconsistent with. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's still all
I chose
ties in.
purple.
Yep. Yes. Anyway, yeah, I think we should put it here. But thank you very much for joining me on this Taylor Osborne roster reveal. And thank you everyone for watching. Leave a like and let us know in the comments how excited you are for this to get going again. Again, we're going to do a separate announcement for the launch date once we have it cemented. We have a date in mind, but things happen. Things can be hit and miss. We will make sure we're going to hit the date and hit the ground running this time before we announce the date, basically.
From some previous mistakes.
Yeah, learn from past mistakes. Exactly. That's growth, isn't it? So next week we'll have someone else on. I don't even know who. I'm not even teasing you with the mystery. I genuinely don't know who it's going to be.
Taylor's Ultimate Attire.
Yes, we're going to have Taylor Part 2. It's just going to be TWA. It's going to be Taylor Wrestling Alliance. Just nothing but Taylor Osborne's fighting for everything. But
I'm going to speak that into existence. You know that.
But it's it's going to be a lot of fun revealing the first members of the roster. We've already got like an initial plan in place for how we're going to launch, so definitely subscribe and keep up with the updates we do provide, because we're gonna beast it this year. This is going to be the year that we actually nail it. I feel good about this year. And,
there we go.
And before Taylor's done with his entrance one more time, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, leave your comments. Bye.
See ya.